Thank you, judges, so much for attending this. So we are Team Vision Tag, and we are people analytics for higher education and putting every student to the front of the class. My name is Grant Shinohara. I'm the Chief Product Officer, and I have experience in product design, mechanical engineering, and research and development with the U.S. Naval Research Laboratory, as well as a background in database design.
My name is Cody Moehl. I am the Director of Classroom Integration and Marketing, and I have experience with audio and visual technology and event coordination, and I'm currently the SEB Executive Director.
And my name is Joshua Chadwick. I am the lead software engineer for Vision Tag, and I also have many years of experience designing quality software and machine learning algorithms, and I am an incoming software engineering intern for Schweitzer Engineering Labs.
Our advisors are Victor Chapronciak, and he is a Stanford MBA as well as WSU mechanical engineer. Also, Brian Saffler, he's Director of Industry and Marketing for Databricks, and he's also an entrepreneur, as well as Juan Garcia. He's a Small Business Development Council advisor and entrepreneur. Adam Bozeman from Gonzaga University. He's a MBA and PhD in finance at WSU, as well as Asa Brown. He's our startup lawyer, and he also has an MBA from Florida State University, along with TJ Goebel, who's a public sector accountant and an executive for MongoDB and enterprise sales. As well as we have a whole host of consultants ranging from finance to electrical engineering, as well as software development. So what really is the problem? We have really outdated engagement tools. Hand raising and surveys really provide limited insight. Harvard found that there's a 14% gap in participation accuracy due to herding behavior. So you're not really getting accurate responses as to what the students are truly feeling about content or concepts in the classroom, just because a majority of hands say otherwise, as well as physical layout and limited learning. So in 2017, a study showed that students seated in the back rows are less likely to be engaged and also have lower grades. Faculty also have no way of currently tracking or responding to these patterns. Additionally, digital distraction, there's really an epidemic in this. Over 50% of students admit to using smartphones for non-classroom activities, and 63% of instructors say personal devices really derail focus and retention within the classroom. And lastly, there's really no real-time feedback loop. Without adaptive real-time analytics and classroom data, administrators are left flying blind and really unable to proactively intervene or improve outcomes. And as you can see on the right, this shows a lecture hall of disengaged students, as well as on the lower half, you see students with their own personal devices. Some are focused, some are not, but there's really no streamlined methodology for it right now. Now, the technology of Vision Tag. So we're a fully integrated system, and we combine hardware plus software and real-time analytics in order to create a unified classroom platform. We have starting out a multi-side display for our desktop device. So the student-facing side is a touchscreen for taking notes and being able to do lecture interaction, as well as the instructor-facing side, which is an e-ink display showing the student name, photo, and any sort of hand-raised notifications. There's also an instructor dashboard, so they can view this from their computer or as well a Vision Tag device that they have up front. And this allows them to provide these real in-class insights onto attendance management, engagement, and participation trends. We also have an AI-enhanced features and our AI engine that provides auto-transcription of lectures and key concepts, as well as searchable and organized content that students can later index at home or on any other personal device when and wherever they are. And lastly, we really provide a distraction-free learning experience. So no personal devices is actually needed for a student to bring to class, and it's really built for a secure and focused classroom use from the ground up. So our value proposition. It really sums down to data-driven learning, real-time connection, and smarter outcomes. For administrators, they gain real-time analytics to drive smarter decisions and optimize faculty and college performance. For professors, they're gaining automated attendance, engagement tracking, and adaptive insights to improve instruction instantly. Students, they're getting provided with a upfront class experience. So no matter where they sit, they're essentially at the front of the class, as well as the utility of note taking and AI engine processing that they'll be able to get for study material that's tailored to them. And really, with Vision Tag, administrators gain transparency, professors gain insight, and students gain the tools to learn more effectively, essentially making every classroom smarter, every interaction more meaningful, and every student more empowered.
All right, for traction, we have a whole lot of it. We have a patent pending right now for core technology. We actually have a physical prototype that is to demonstrate the core functionality that we will bring to the trade show. We have established relationships with domestic and international manufacturers and suppliers. We have interviewed 52 plus is an outdated number at this point. We have interviewed, all of these interviews are students, professors, administrative staff, what have you. Letters of endorsement from stakeholders at Washington State University, Gonzaga, and U of I in the works. And we are in the process of developing a pilot program for fall of 2025. Okay, so for the market opportunity, the EdTech market is projected to hit $348 billion by 2030. This includes universities, training centers, and conferences because we believe our product can be applied to all of them. Total addressable market is 187 billion plus globally currently, 20 billion plus opportunity over the next 5 years at $2,000 a user. This is 50% of the higher educational market for US students and faculty, which is 10 million users. Our serviceable obtainable market is a full WSU deployment, which is 16,000 plus units, which would equate to 32 million plus in revenue from our hardware plus software bundle. And this would kind of serve as a scalable blueprint for 3,000 plus college institutions that we would try and expand to. So for competitors, we have Top Hat, Kahoot, Canvas, and Mentimeter, but you can cross all of those out because we provide Vision Tag. Distraction-free learning, so you can say goodbye to personal devices, students being distracted on their phones, their laptops. As a student, it happens. We see it in class all the time, people being distracted and not engaged with the material. We provide an all-in-one platform, fully integrated hardware and software in one seamless system, unlike competitors who are listed on the left that all rely on the student personal devices. We have automation-powered insights, AI-driven attendance, participation tracking, and note organization. Opportunities to give educators real-time feedback and eliminating the manual busy work that the professors have to do by themselves. This is purpose-built for the classroom, so it is designed specifically for live education environments, unlike the current retrofitted quiz materials that we use today in the generic learning management systems.
All right, so for our go-to-market strategy, starting out with our sales strategy,
we're working on a direct outreach to university and procurement teams, and also participating in EdTech conferences and industry events, and really going from this community-centric model. So instead of going from a top-down corporate approach and just saying, here's a technology, you have to integrate it, we don't care about your values or your culture or what the KPIs you're trying to measure per university, because every university is different, we're really working on a base package that can cover for most universities and KPI metrics that they're trying to track, but also offer tailored solutions. So for example, if UCLA's art program is trying to measure a particular thing about their art students or their engineering students, we can do that. Same with WSU or U of I or Gonzaga. We're able to tailor it to every single university. Now, for cost and outreach, the product will be sold as both the hardware and software subscription. So there's a one-time sale for the hardware, but then there's a monthly recurring revenue from the software side of it. We're planning on doing a 2-year pilot program, which will focus on really validating this technology with select universities and starting.
And it's 5 minutes.
And then also following this, we'll plan to scale through early adopters and expanding across universities to incorporate into training centers. And you can see for our phase one in Washington State, and then moving out to phase two, expanding across the broader depth of universities and leveraging early adopters. And then phase three, really expanding this to corporate training centers and hybrid learning spaces, as well as universities on a global scale. In addition to this, so our revenue model, we're doing a hybrid pricing model. So it's $200 for a hardware sale, and it's $30 a month for our software subscription. Our current customer lifetime value, we're having about 5 years, but this would actually be longer. It just depends on how long we're working with the institution, which would be, in theory, a very long time. The model benefits is that we have a upfront revenue and a really stable recurring income, or really sticky revenue, which is great. And then this really supports long-term scalability and retention, both with our hardware and software model. Our financial projections. So from 2026 to 2027, we're planning on deploying 50 units for a pilot program at WSU, and this will help validate the tech as well as inform us for design for manufacturing improvements. And then for our stage expansion in 2028, 5,000 units across Carson College of Business, 2029, WSU Pullman campus-wide, and then 2030, system-wide across WSU, which is about 16,000 plus units. In addition to this, our financial growth, it's going to be very modest in our first 2-year pilot program. But in 2028, there's going to be a sharp revenue increase. And this is when we're starting to get full scale development, and then also 50% drop in COGS due to our design for manufacturing and reduced manufacturing costs, as well as economies of scale. And this is really setting the foundation for moving forward. So our funding amount required
3 minutes.
are, sorry, 1 minute. Sorry, I didn't know if you said something.
3 minutes.
Oh, 3 minutes. Okay, thank you. So we have a goal of $300,000 to fund a 2-year WSU pilot program from 2026 to 2027. This would cover hardware, software, testing, and operations, and this will help us validate our technology and refine design for manufacturing. Our funding breakdown is doing around 50% in NSF and SBIR grants, and 40% in state, port, and local grant match programs, and then a 10% in angel investment or private investment. So our additional support efforts, we're collaborating with the Port of Whitman for land and public funding, and looking into the Governor's Strategic Fund, and that can be anywhere from $50K to $500K, as well as the CERB loan, which is $500K to $20 million, and we would do that via the port application. Our approach really prioritizes capital efficiency as well as risk mitigation, and just creating a scalable approach for this long-term institutional growth is what we want. Thank you so much. And we would like to also be considered for the Merit Awards of Best in Tech Venture, as well as Best Social Impact Venture.
Thank you. And now we will start the 10-minute question and answer.
Okay.
I'll go ahead and start. This is Andy Barrett, and Grant, Cody, and Joshua. Great job on your presentation. And you have, first of all, you have a great team you guys put together. I really applaud you for really going deep with that team. In fact, Victor, that was on your team, I was actually involved with him back in the day at a startup Spokane event. He came up from WSU. So
Nice.
Yeah. Great team. My question, I guess I've got for you guys is, selling to big institutions like the government or universities, that's generally a pretty long timeline. How are you going to specifically tackle selling to universities and getting in there?
Yeah. So let me go ahead and actually go on to one of our slides on here. Yeah, so university tech adoption, let me go ahead and then put this on to present again. All right, so that's a fantastic question, and a part of this. So I was actually directly talking to Debbie, our business college dean, about this exact process. And so the steps that this would generally go through, at least at the college level, would be first a department approval, and then secondly a decision by the college dean. and then it would go into purchasing review. And then that would then move on to RFP. So that's a request for proposal. And so that would be, okay, are there other solutions that we could use, or is this a sole source justification? Now, this is going to be, for us, it would most likely be a sole source justification just because the novelty of our technology and our business. And then they would do a ITS security review and then look into network vulnerabilities. And that can be anywhere from 4 to 6 months, as well as looking into vendor security and infrastructure. How are we going to plug this into like Okta Verify or Canvas and use our current infrastructure that we already have, because it is a lot to do something from scratch and scrap everything else that they already currently have, right? So to answer that, as far as like timelines for this pilot program, or even doing the tech adoption within a college, it can be anywhere from 4 weeks to 6 months, or possibly a year is what we'd be expecting, if that answers your question.
Reading your solution, I think or hearing about it's really intriguing. So yeah, nice work again. I think kind of following along with Andy's question is, I think you may want to consider pivoting and going to the business world where there's a lot of training that happens. And the reason I say it is, in the business world, they care that the knowledge is imparted on the students. At universities, the universities don't necessarily care if the student learns or not, right? It's really up to the motivation of the student. And so to me, I would target the businesses that do training and want to know if their students are learning, right? They aren't always, yeah, anyhow, I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's a great point you make, and that's where we're definitely looking into that as a part of our larger both macro and micro strategies. Like, where is it that we really want to start out with, and then how can we expand out from there? Because there's an insane amount of growth potential with this particular business. Because although we're starting it with education, and that's such a big market, and there's a lot of improvements that can be done with that, because essentially our education system has stayed the same for the past 150 years. There hasn't really been much of a change, but we think with Vision Tag, we can really change that and then expand out into other adjacent industries like hospitality management or corporate training centers and all these sort of other aspects of knowledge transfer that you're talking about.
Can I add something?
Mm-hmm.
So can you turn it down? Sorry. I have been working in the event industry for a long time, 3 to 4 years now. And we see great application for this device potentially in the future to conferences and conventions at convention centers, arenas, everything like that. I pitched this to my advisor, who has loads of experience in the same field. And the second she heard it, she said this would be revolutionizing conference going and conference attendance and all the convention stuff. So we really think that if we get a good bearing in the educational environment, we could potentially expand to these areas.
Yeah, I'll just caution again. I think, as Andy said, it's going to be tough to break in. It's a really long sales cycle. Educational institutions are under financial pressure today. So anyhow, you might go business. Sell your solution as a service. Anybody that's doing training, you say, hey, we'll come in and provide this for you for X dollars or X dollars per person.
Definitely.
Yeah, great job, guys. And I would agree with those comments, because some of the concerns that I had were things like, you bring up the pain point of students on phones. While yes, this replaces a laptop, there's nothing that is technically stopping a student from still getting out their phone with this screen in front of them. And then also really hard for the professors to multitask looking at that dashboard while they're teaching. It's almost like they need a teaching assistant to be able to see who's asking questions and things, because they're going to be focused on giving the lecture. So I think application into the corporate world would be great. One of the questions I had was on your maintenance and replacement costs. You talked about the cost of the initial thing is $200, but if it is in a university setting and a student is there, what's to say they're not drawing on it? I mean, how often does the system go down and it has to be replaced? Have you looked at those types of costs?
Yeah. So let me go ahead and just pull this up here. I can touch on it. Yeah. So so when you're talking about for maintenance and reliability and whatnot, right now I set it to we have it at 5 years, but ideally these units would be last between 5 and 7 years. And the other thing is that we're actually going from a holistic product lifecycle approach. So compared to most personal devices such as like Chromebooks or tablets or personal computers that might be adapted into the educational environment, what makes our hardware and software really different in our business model is that we're not saying, okay, we're going to sell you the hardware and software, and when it breaks, you're going to put that in the landfill. We don't care about it. Just buy our new version. We're not doing that. What we're saying is, okay, you have a screen that breaks or a student drops on the ground or whatnot. It needs maintenance or it needs to be repaired. What happens is that we will then have those units sent to us, and then on our essentially like rehabilitation center, similar to SEL's product hospital, in order to fix and repair these units to then put them back out into the field for use. And this is actually going to save us quite a bit of cost and also just time and stuff for a lot of other additional procurement and everything. So it's really a holistic product lifecycle compared to most conventional hardware solutions that are trying to be adapted to the educational environment. And I say Chromebooks because that's probably one of the most standout examples. So they currently are implemented across a lot of K through 12 universities. And what happens is Google basically says it's not a problem anymore. You guys, your IT administrators, your admin, they need to fix that. And so they're actually scrounging all on eBay and finding old Chromebooks and everything like that, spending thousands of dollars in order to repair keys or broken touchpads and stuff like that because Google won't help them fix it. And also these Chromebooks do have a built-in expiration date, and they state that compared to us, where we're going to give you lifetime serviceability. Yeah, similar to SEL.
Just a question on this revenue model. The $30 per month for the software subscription, is that per unit? Is that per classroom? How is that broken up?
Yeah, so that is broken up by per unit, and then we're doing it on a per unit and then a per month basis. Is how we calculate that.
Okay, you might just want to add that little line in because I got a bit worried on how you're going to make money off $30 a month from WSU as a whole. But
yeah, absolutely, we will add that to the backlog for sure.
And then in terms of taking notes, how does someone take notes on it? Do they have like a pen and they're writing on the screen, or is a keyboard attached to it?
Yeah, so we don't have the graphic on here, but a part of this is actually is we would have peripherals on here as well. So if you can see kind of in the CAD model rendering on the bottom right, right now it's in just its touch display system, but there would be a low profile peripheral keyboard as well as stylus that you'd be able to use. So you're getting all the same functionality of an iPad or a laptop. And to hit on the point earlier that was brought up about the profile and size of it, this was actually something that was brought up multiple times during our customer discovery interviews, both with admin and professors, is that a lot of the current monitors that are used for computer labs are creating really barriers between students and professors that creates room for distraction, right? And barriers that they can hide behind. With this system, it's very low profile. It's nothing bigger than really a conventional paper name tag. So if they're going on their phone, you can easily see it. And most people, if they're seen going on their phone in that situation, most students will not if it's on the desk.
And we are at time. Thank you so much, Vision Tag. We appreciate it, and you may exit.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.